Am I the a-hole for not telling my ex-wife that I reversed my vasectomy? We're married for 8 years before divorcing during the pandemic 4 years ago. We have 2 kids together, 13M and 10F, who we share custody of and co-parent well together. At her suggestion, I got a vasectomy after our daughter was born. I got remarried about a year ago to my new wife, Carrie, 34F. Carrie does not have kids but has always wanted a family. After many discussions prior to our engagement, I agreed to reverse my vasectomy to try to start a family with Carrie. I had the reversal procedure done just after our wedding. Carrie and I found out about a month ago that she is pregnant. She is currently about 15 weeks. We have not told anyone about the pregnancy until recently. I wanted to wait until I had an opportunity to tell my kids in person that they are going to have a younger sibling. Now that they are done with school, I had that chance this past weekend. Both of my kids were very excited and happy to hear the news. They get along great with Carrie and are excited to have a new baby bro/sis. After I told the kids, they wanted to call their mom and tell her about it too. I was a little apprehensive because I didn't know how Jen would react and tried to convince them to let me tell her first. But my son ended up telling her via text before that. Jen sent me a text a few minutes later, basically asking me WTF I was thinking. I texted her back saying that I would prefer not to have this conversation over text and asked if she was free for a chat. She said she wasn't and sent a flurry of texts asking me a bunch of questions. I again told her I would prefer to have this conversation in person or on the phone. She finally called me later that night and was not happy. She told me that I should have told her I reversed my vasectomy so that she could talk to our kids about it. I told her that my body and my life with Carrie is not her business and that neither of our kids even know I had a vasectomy, let alone know what a vasectomy is. I've never told them I had one, so why would I tell them I reversed it? She told me that since this is going to have a huge impact on our kids' lives that I should have told her about it first. She said that it is her business when it will directly impact our kids. I told her that it is my body and that my health choices are of no concern to her anymore. The conversation started getting heated, and I ended the call before things got too far. Jen has since calmed down and did send a text congratulating me and Carrie. But she still maintains that I should have notified her of my decision to reverse my vasectomy before things got to a point where Carrie is pregnant. She thinks that she had a right to know since it will impact our kids. I think she has no right to any information regarding what I decide to do with my body unless it is life-threatening. My marriage and life with Carrie is not information that my ex-wife has any right to.
Not the a-hole. My dad got a vasectomy when my parents were married, then got it reversed, and later redone, when he and my stepmom had my brother. I was like 17 when he got the reversal. I cannot overstate how much I wish I hadn't known about any of it.
My parents told me about Dad's vasectomy when I was 8 to the point that I was drawing diagrams in the playground sand to explain the difference between a vasectomy and a pet being neutered to my classmates. I think they may have overshared a bit. I disagree. OP, you're a massive asshole for not telling your vasectomy reversal news to your ex, your kids, me, all of Reddit, your boss, your neighbors, the postal/delivery/utility workers at your home, your 3rd grade teacher, etc. In fact, I am appalled you did not hold a State of the Sausage address on your social media. I mean, would it have been that difficult for you to show some consideration for us? We all signed up for your Scrot Watch alerts. Seriously, she signed papers divorcing you 4 years ago. It doesn't matter how well you two co-parent. She doesn't share news about her irregular periods with you. You don't share news about your semen recipe with her. A judge said so. Not the a-hole. Is between you, your wife, your doctor, your testicles, and your urethra. That's it. You having kids will impact their lives somewhat. Huge? Not so sure. But how does that mean you have to tell her you reversed a vasectomy? You've told them you're going to have a kid. That's all they need to know. Not the a-hole. Your fertility status is none of your ex-wife's business. It doesn't become her business just because it indirectly affects her through affecting your kids.
In normal families, parents don't ask their kids for permission to fuck or have more children. And given infertility and miscarriage are a thing, most parents wait until they are further along to announce to the kids. I had the shock of my life when my parents had a surprise to everyone, baby when I was 16. We were all fine. The ex-wife doesn't need to feature in breaking the news. If he is a decent dad, he is capable of having that conversation with his kids. But it makes sense for the ex to find out immediately after that so she can support the kids if they have complex feelings. But nobody needs to tell anyone outside of the couple if they are trying for a baby. That's private information. The kids don't need to know, and the ex certainly doesn't need to know. Has she been telling him if she's still using the pill? Or every time she sleeps with someone? She needs to learn appropriate boundaries. They are not friends. They are not partners/spouses. They are co-parents only. What happens to his genitals with other women is not her concern. I think the ex-wife is the one who is shaken. Because OP is continuing a new family with his new partner, and she is struggling to process that. A lot of exes really struggle when a person moves on in life, especially if they are now living their dream life with a new partner.
Not the a-hole. Jen is upset for 3 reasons, possibly even 4. You are now going to have to share resource with a 3rd child. She's jealous that you now have a family with Carrie. Sometimes people don't think you have a family unit until you have kids with that person. She's jealous on behalf of the kids because she feels like this new baby will take away attention from your other 2 kids. Asterisk 4. If you pay her child support or alimony, and depending on the state/country law, she's afraid there could possibly be a deduction due to increased expensive for the new child. I'm going to add a 5th. 5. She's hurt. The kids were something you shared. Now, you're sharing this with someone else and going back to number 2. She's jealous. Probably mixed emotions. You knew this was likely the case, which is why you wanted to share it with her in person versus having your kids share it. Which is also why you are questioning whether you are the a-hole. You are not, probably more thoughtful and considerate, but not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole you didn't know if your reversal would be a success or whether you and Carrie would conceive. It wouldn't have been appropriate for your ex to expect you to fill her in until now. I think she just got taken by surprise and reacted poorly. I'm glad she sent a congrats text later.
My wife straight up told me she was happy I was getting a vasectomy because it meant even if we break up, nobody else will be able to have kids with me. So it's probably that, and she doesn't want to admit that to you. She's using your kids as a shield to cover how mad she is that she's not your only baby mama. Not the a-hole. She's got to get over it.
Not the a-hole. Your ex-wife is entitled, jealous, and completely out of line. Your body, your choice, and she's just using them, but it affects our kids. Angle because she's jealous and mad. Fuck that. You informed your kids when you found out you were pregnant, and you did owe them that. Neither your ex-wife or your not even teenage kids get to decide if you have more children. Full stop. Period. Easy peasy. By your ex's logic, if she's sexually active and decides to switch methods of birth control, she'd be obligated to call you because she might get pregnant, and that would impact your kids' lives? What if she decides to skip getting a pap smear? I think Jen was actually upset about some other aspect of this that she didn't want to share, or maybe even acknowledge to herself.
You did nothing wrong, and it's heartwarming to see a husband stand up for his wife, while also keeping a healthy relationship between everyone. She has no right to have opinions on your body. It seems like she is jealous, and that's on her, not you or your wife. Congrats, BTW. From the children's point of view, learning about their father's vasectomy and its reversal could affect their understanding of family dynamics and personal boundaries. Jen's concern about discussing such matters with their children might stem from a desire to maintain trust and open communication, ensuring they receive information in an age-appropriate manner. I doubt Jen is really concerned about that primarily. If I had to guess, it was going to be a conversation about how daddy wants a new family and they're not as important anymore. Plus, they're 10 and 13, so they probably don't even know what a vasectomy is. Knowing what BC my mother is on doesn't affect my family's dynamic and boundaries.
I'm sorry, but did your ex-wife miss the whole divorce part? This has nothing to do with her at all. Stop entertaining he BS. It's nothing got to do with her. You co-parent together, that's it. When my ex and his partner became pregnant, he just let me know saying, just to let you know we're expecting an X month. My response was, that's great news. Congratulations. Then he and I went on our merry ways. You need to remind your ex, she is not your partner anymore. What you do or don't do with your body or your marriage has nothing to do with her. You continue co-parenting and only speak about the children. If she even hints at anything like this, you say, "This is wildly inappropriate. I will not discuss my private life with you. You do not get a say in my body or my life with my wife. We are only to communicate as co-parents. Keep your opinions to yourself. Keep all messages from her. This will get worse if you let it."
Not the a-hole. The only way the kids should have been given a heads up on a potential baby is if you were single and it would have came out of left field with other negative aspects to it. Even then the talk would have come from you, not your ex. I think that she is riled up because it came to a surprise to her and she didn't have time to process it. She may be an ex, but she was the only one having able to carry your children for you and may have felt special. Her reaction is still not warranted, but may give some insight. Not the a-hole. Absolutely not. It is zero of her business what you are doing in that department. She's found out before the baby is born, so she can talk to the kids if she feels the need. That's also for you to do, though. After my youngest son was born, my fiancé's ex-wife called him asking if I had my tunes tied and what my plans were in that regard. He asked me about it and I said, "Did you tell her AITH absolutely none of her business at all, and she's got a lot of nerve to be asking?" I feel the same about this. Some people don't know what the prefix X means. Not the a-hole. The state of your genitals is none of your ex's business, and whether you choose to have another child is none of her business. You certainly didn't need to explain the whole vasectomy stuff to them. Like, why on earth would you discuss that with your kids? That's weird, and at their ages, that's way more info than needed or age appropriate. You definitely did not need to tell your ex any of that. And you are just as capable of explaining that you're having a kid to them as she would be. They're your kids too, and she doesn't get exclusive rights to having important discussions with them. Your ex is way too invasive with your marriage and your life decisions.
Jen stopped having a right to know anything about your sex life, vasectomy reversal, or adding to your family after the divorce. She needs to get over herself. Your kids don't need to know anything about your vasectomy under any circumstances. You have remarried, and while your kids with your ex will now have a new sibling. Yeah, that is all she needs to know. Methinks Jen may be a little jealous. Sounds like she hasn't entirely moved on.
You are the a-hole. Legally speaking, at least in my state, you should have had the conversation with her first. You can't decide on your own to drop big conversations on the two of your children and call it co-parenting. Ultimately, the choice to undo your vasectomy is yours, and no, you don't need her permission to do that. Telling the children, however, should have been done with her knowledge, so that she had an opportunity to voice how she would like to frame that conversation with them. This allows co-parents to come up with a plan on how to tell the children what to say, and more importantly, what not to say. The same goes if you were marrying someone new, moving, wanting to change their school, till even considering getting a dog. She is right. If it affects the children, good co-parenting talks it out with the other parent first. Edit. To be clear before I get lambasted in the comments, the conversation with the ex-wife should have been, "Hey, when Carrie and I got married, we wanted to try for more children, and now we're pregnant. We need to talk about how to tell the children this. Not, I'd like to reverse my vasectomy, what are your thoughts?" Your ex sounds like a control freak. Your body, your choice on who to tell. If the situation was reversed, I'm pretty sure she wasn't going to discuss it with you first. What impact would it have on the kids? The kids are excited, so her making it about the impact it'll have on the kids is bullshit. Not the a-hole.
It's not her job to talk to the kids about you starting a family and your body, your choices. None of that is her business until you made it her business. You're co-parenting. You should have told her when you had the kids with you, but could tell her in private. She should be prepared in case your kids react poorly or have strong feelings that they need help processing. Good that they didn't freak out, but dropping bombs in your kid's life, good or bad, should be discussed with the co-parent. And dick move on your son's part. Like, I'm not saying give him up for adoption, but just not cool, man. Not cool at all. So I guess your daughter nailed it.